Recording now. So we continue where I left off before, which is urban decay decline. Share screen, decay and decline. Share all windows. Regeneration. Okay, share. Okay, sharing. Now we are here. We were here just now. So waiting room to people on the okay, anyway, full screen. So please alert me if anybody wants to come in and I don't realize it. Okay, anyway. Okay, process of decay. Urban decay, like I said before, urban decay is more the physical side of the deterioration. Deterioration. Okay. Now, stage one is at the early stage of urbanization. Is the early stage of urbanization. Okay. Whereby you have accelerated population growth due to manufacturing boom. So this is when the pull factor is so strong. People come into the core, the city center, okay, for better opportunities there. At the second stage, okay, whereby you have the good transport network, you have the good public amenities and better housing outside the inner cities. And then you have the combination of that with the high land and rental values in inner cities. What does that lead to? It will lead to this movement of the population, or the movement, the exodus, not large exodus, but small scale exodus of people moving from the city center to the suburban areas. Okay, and not just the people, the population, but also the businesses. Manufacturing shifts away due to this one, like I said just now, higher rent, land and rental values in inner city areas. They say, okay, we have a good transport network now. Okay, why must we pay high rental values or high price for properties in the city center to operate in when we can easily operate from the suburban areas? Okay. Pay lower rental there, okay, that will offset the travel costs. Yeah? So this causes the manufacturing or the industries to shift away from the city center, from the urban core to the fringes. Okay? And urban sprawl will be a result of that. Sprawl means it goes out from the center. So this is when urban decay starts to show itself. Okay, the onset of urban decay. Next stage is when there's speculation and conflict with other users. Okay, which leads to high land values and depopulation, traffic congestion. You have more serious urban decay. And finally, at the fourth stage, the most serious stage, okay, the effect spread to the suburban areas and the suburbs cease to expand. If we can imagine, we can use the analogy of cancer. Yeah, cancer, right? This is when the cells are healthy, cell of the body is healthy. This is when the cancer cells begin to active. Dia dah ada daripada dia dormant kan, dormant. Now they activate kan some of the cancer cells. More serious, this one, serious growth. You can, if it's a cancer, you can feel the lump lah. Boleh cakap macam tu, lump kan. Dah rasa physical apa nama tu, manifestation of the urban decay. Finally, if you don't stop the cancer, it will spread to other parts of the body, spread to other parts of the city. Okay, now, so the bad thing is the decay, the penyakit, the sickness is the decay, the disease is the urban decay. The medicine is urban regeneration. How to reverse the situation of urban decay and decline is through urban regeneration. So this is a good definition of urban regeneration. It says here, comprehensive and integrated vision and action which leads to the resolution of urban problems. Very ambitious kan, dia kata leads to the resolution. The main aim is to resolve the urban problems, and which seeks to bring about a lasting improvement in the economic, physical, social, and environmental condition of an area that has been subject to change. Change lah. This one to the decay and decline just now. Okay, so you have here the city. Okay, you have a declining urban area, and you have 4 areas that shows decline: the economy, the physical side, the social side, and the environmental side. Okay, you have a declining urban area. Now, how to overcome this problem? How to make right this decline? Okay, the 4 areas of the decline to the economy, physical, social, environment. First of all, there must be a vision and action. There must be a vision to be followed by action. Vision, action, to resolve this problem. Okay, vision first, then only action. Vision is the hala tuju, is the aim. Okay? Action is how to get there. And both the vision and action must be comprehensive, must be integrated. Comprehensive mesti cakup all aspects to cover the economic, physical, social, and environmental aspects of the decline. Integrated, they must complement each other lah, must be complementary, must be integrated. Jadi satu lah, comprehensive cukup, integrated two. Okay. And if this is done, you will achieve resolution of urban problems, and hopefully the improvements will be lasting forever. So lasting is the keyword here. Lasting to sustainable. Okay? Sustainable. Now the rationale, why do you need urban regeneration in the city center when there's a decay and decline just now? 3 main reasons: improve resource allocation, improve the well-being of the citizens, and to increase local authority income. The first one, optimum development density in the city center. Okay, it's not maximum, yeah, optimum, because some users may clash. Some, if you allow profit maximization or rent maximization, sometimes the outcome is not optimum. It will be more damaging than good for the city. So must be optimum development density in the city center. Develop derelict areas for housing and employment, derelict to the rundown areas. So must improve the situations. Higher employment rates and inflow of middle and high income households. Yeah, so you want that in the city center, middle, high income households. But be careful of this this situation. You have gentrification. You may have gentrification if you overshoot this one. Inflow of middle and high income households. Gentrification means the low income people will be replaced by these middle and high income households. So the low income people who before that live in the city area to save money for transportation, now because of the fact that the rental can be higher, will be higher, now the middle and the high income households can come in and kick these low income people out. This happens everywhere. Okay, Malaysia also, just look at Kerinci as an example, or Pantai Dalam. Now, increase property value. Okay, that's another rationale. That's another thing that can be achieved there. Increase property value if we manage to improve resource allocation. Improve well-being means that okay, now the decay just now, the abandoned buildings can be rectified, so there's no more places for criminals to hide in, or for disease vectors. Disease vectors like what do you call it? Like these vectors, mosquitoes. Mosquitoes, rats, or vermins lah. Can be eliminated, so that leads to a better living environment for the citizens. And once you take care of the population, of the citizens, okay, of the workers, and the businesses will also be improved as well. Okay? Lower absenteeism at work, okay, improve productivity. Okay? So those are things that motivate urban regeneration in city center. Lastly, if these are achieved, they can increase the local authority income in terms of the tax rate. It will be widened, okay, and also higher higher amounts can be charged on the properties inside the city center. Urban regeneration. Now, decay and decline can have a negative impact on the national economy. So re-urbanization, the second step, 1, 2, 3. The third stage just now is facilitated by urban regeneration. Okay, And there are 5 well-known methods for urban regeneration. So you have urban clearance, reconstruction, revitalization, redevelopment, and urban transformation. These 5, okay, you can read, okay, in more detail from this article. Okay, let me show you the one of the articles that this one. Okay. This article that I have uploaded on Spectral is a good article. The English is not that high level. Okay, lot of pictures, lots of pictures, lots of examples. Okay, and it's short, 8 pages only. Okay, please read after this. Or if you have read already, you can relook or you can revisit again after this lecture. Because sometimes if you read something before coming to class, okay, and you sit down for the lecture, sometimes the lecture will clarify some of the things that you were puzzled about during when you were reading. Okay, wait, share again. Share screen. Okay, now. So we can go one by one, but very briefly, okay, because time is running out. Urban clearance, reconstruction, revitalization, redevelopment, urban transformation. So from the simplest to the most comprehensive, from the earliest type of urban regeneration to the most current concept of urban transformation or strategy or method of urban regeneration. Okay, so it says here the above regeneration methods vary according to the intervention scale. The scale, is it large scale or is it small scale? Political decisions, okay? The politicians, what do they want to achieve, political decisions, and the characteristics of the places, the geography of the city, you know, what happened there before, was there war before that? Because reconstruction was more aligned with the situation after World War II. You can see that after this. Okay, now urban clearance, okay, was introduced in the 1850s. So you look at the year 1850s, kan? So this is about 50 years after the Industrial Revolution. See, things like this are so interesting for me. I don't know about you. The timeline. Okay, so 50 years, about 50 years after the Industrial Revolution, you see problems with the city center, where there's too many people from the rural areas who were formerly farmers, farm hands. They come to the city seeking jobs in the manufacturing sector, okay, causing things like slums, not enough slum neighborhoods. The very poor cleanliness levels there, very cramped living conditions. So this urban clearance method was used after 1980s in Europe to improve the slum neighborhoods by demolishing the existing urban structure and creating completely new characteristics. Demolish and build. Large-scale urban migration to cities during the Industrial Revolution caused poor living conditions and led to health problems in the society. And in Paris, for instance, existing urban structure was demolished, replaced with side roads and large squares. So this is an example in Paris. Okay, before you have these slum areas following the Industrial Revolution in Paris. So very poor living conditions here. A lot of diseases originate here. People living so closely to each other. Yeah. So the government did land acquisition and they demolished this stretch of land, demolished all the buildings on this stretch of land, and after that they widened. They built wide avenues there. Okay. Reconstruction. So reconstruction was in the 1950s. Again, look at the year. Okay, it's post the World War II, when it was necessary to build parts of the cities damaged by bombing. Yeah, bombing where? In Europe again. Yeah, you can see London, Germany, Paris, all these big cities in where else? All over Europe being destroyed destroyed by aerial bombing. Yeah. So rather than recreating or following the original historical flavor of the city, so instead of conserving, instead of recreating or following the original historical flavor, most governments favor recreating completely new. So instead of preserving or conserving, they say, okay, let's build completely new urban structure, not related to the flavor of the cities. Okay, so again, demolish and rebuild. Okay, demolish and rebuild and create a new urban structure. Example here given is the basic plan of Rotterdam. You can see here, okay, the new plan for Rotterdam, which was heavily bombed during the World War II. Revitalization, 1960s. Okay, it's also known as urban renaissance or rejuvenation. Okay, revitalization means to revive, dihidupkan, rejuvenate, hidup kembali, to make alive again the older parts of the cities by providing new functions to all buildings with small interventions. So basically, this means preservation or conservation, actually conservation. So under conservation, you have preservation, you have rehabilitation, you have what else? Retrofitting. So a lot of things under conservation. So conservation is the big umbrella lah. So revitalization is different from the first two because it does not involve demolishing and building new. It is more on conservation. Okay? Similar with the urban conservation methods, as the main concern is to protect the existing urban structure while providing development. The focus of revitalization was on socio-economic improvements. We still have this now. We have the adaptive reuse. Have you heard of adaptive reuse? So a good example in Malaysia is the Pasar Seni, is the central market. Okay, before, instead of just demolishing the central market, what we did was we repurposed the building. We used that as an arts center. Redevelopment in 1980s. Redevelopment again, you see the word redevelopment, demolish, build new. Okay? The demolition and recreation of urban structure of the slum areas which have no chance either economical or morphological improvements. This one wants to make sure that that area, usually slum areas, it cannot be saved anymore. Doesn't matter if there's historical value there. They say, okay, we demolish and we recreate the new. Okay, demolish, rebuild. Normally, the redevelopment is considered as small-scale urban regeneration. And since urban decay is caused by development activities moving away from urban center to the ring, urban renewals, main strategy is to slow down or reverse the outward spread. So one way is to redevelop the city center again. We were talking about pull factor, push factor just now, right? So now is a matter of strengthening or increasing the attractiveness of the city center by redeveloping the city center. Timing. So when do we redevelop? Okay, there's three ways to decide when to undertake redevelopment. So the first one is when the cost of clearance and rebuilding is less than the cost of repairs and upgrading. We are talking about cost-benefit analysis here. Okay, so when the cost of clearance and rebuilding is less than cost of repairs and upgrading. The second one, capital value increase after redevelopment is more than the capital value increase after rehabilitation. So a comparison between redevelopment and rehabilitation. Okay, which one is more, will give more increment in terms of capital value, either redevelopment or rehabilitation. Redevelopment means to demolish, build again, kan? Rehabilitation means to use whatever is there and improve on the building. So they look at the capital value after redevelopment, after rehabilitation, which is higher. If the capital value after redevelopment is higher than the rehabilitation, which means just leaving the building B or the area of the city B, then they redevelop. Capital value of cleared site for alternative use is more than capital value of land and building in existing use. Now, one of your seniors before, super seniors 2014 before, did his dissertation on this, just on this, okay, one whole essay. So what he did was, he did a timing of the redevelopment for section 13, behind going to Digital Mall, kan? Going to Digital Mall, you can see previously light industrial areas. You have Dutch Baby before, Dutch Lady, Dutch Baby there, and then you have whatever light industries. Now mainly they have, I think they have service apartments, they have what else? Offices there. So original use was, original zoning was light industries, now more and more moving towards commercial. So that particular student, he did this, and he used this basic indicator to suggest if the rest or if the sites in section 13 is suitable for redevelopment or not. Anyway, next. Okay, now cross-section. Cross-sectional view of urban redevelopment activity. So you have the city center and you have the suburban. So this is the distance from the city center to suburban fringe. So you have on the XY, you have on the Y axis the level of construction activity, again the distance from the city center. Okay? So as we move away from the city center, we can see that the level of redevelopment goes down. Okay? And then at one point, you can see that the activities for new development begin to increase, begin to overcome, to overpower redevelopment. Redevelopment, new development. So brown area, green area lah. So gray area is here. When does the new development become more favorable compared to redevelopment? And the new development will have to peak at a certain point because it's not feasible. Okay, this is an interesting slide. Okay, now at city center, you can see here that there are buildings that constantly need upgrading. You have high land values that lead to high density development. Okay, high density, high congestion, so a lot of maintenance need to be done there in the city center. So as we go down the distance axis, okay, we can see the gray area here. Gray area means there needs to be a careful consideration. There needs to be a 50-50 consideration whether to redevelop or do new developments there. Okay, this is when the gray area is when there's high demolition and site preparation costs, and when the owners refuse to invest due to prisoner's dilemma. This one lah, prisoner's dilemma, that leads me to the paper that I recommend to you. Now, prisoner's dilemma, very quickly, is under game theory lah. It's under game theory. Okay, prisoner's dilemma. I think better for us to look at this video. 1 minute only. Okay, so I stop here on this video. Love sharing. Share screen. Sustainable. Regeneration. What else? State. Okay, this one. Share. Game theory. So this is the paper that the extra material that you can have a look after this. Now, prisoners dilemma.
Doctor, this video has sound.
Ada?
This video ada sound ke?
Ada. Kita dengar?
Tak.
Lah. Okay. Okay, anyway. Oh, I thought because maybe, alamak, waste already. Anyway, look at your chat. How chat. Okay, later on. Okay, it's okay. I can, okay, in your chat one is the, chat section is the link to the video. But after this, I will provide the link to you. Okay, I thought you can hear. How come, huh? But anyway, let's move on. Okay. In the video, in the recorded video, I think you'll be able to see and listen at the same time. So after that, I have uploaded this recording on YouTube. Maybe you can go and search for this particular section and then look at it. Okay, now. Okay, share. Anyway. So that is prisoner's dilemma. Okay, it's got to do with planning, the zoning. Nantilah I don't want to discuss it here because it's outside this scope. Otherwise, we'll spend so much time. But anyway, suburban fringe. Okay, the higher the distance from.
Like the back of your hand.
Oops, what's that?
No matter how prepared you are, there will be unforeseen challenges ahead.
Okay, anyway. We have 10 more minutes here. 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes. Again, we have to continue again. Another session, another Zoom. Bear with me, it's okay. We use technology, even though it's quite cumbersome. For today, next week, we'll try to use something which has no disruptions. Okay, anyway, can you see the slides? This one, we're back at slide number 23. Can?
Yep. Yes.
Can, okay. Good. Okay, now, so we have finished this one, suburban fringe. Okay, as we go further from the city center, okay, you have at the fringe higher uncertainty and locational constraints. Okay, locational means things like lack of infrastructure, for instance, transport infrastructure, sewage, what else? Drainage and things like that. Okay, energy. Developers' residual valuation tend to be lower than the landowner's overprice. Of course, the landowner always want to set the highest price possible, right? But the developers, they do residual valuation, which depends on the proposed development. So normally, okay, at the suburban fringe, okay, the residual valuation, okay, tend to be lower than the price offered by the owner. Now, urban transformation, the fifth method. Now, transformation involves regional and international decisions for improvements in the existing urban structure for urban growth by considering livability and vitality. So out of the 5 methods just now of urban regeneration, urban transformation is really at a, not just at local level, but regional level method and also international level. It can involve 2 different countries, 2 regions in 2 different countries coming together to propose this urban regeneration. It's quite interesting. Now, under urban transformation, the development strategies for a target city will consider the development strategies of neighboring cities. Can be within the country or outside the country, if it's side by side lah. A good example would be later on, kan, JB and Singapore, you see lah, because those are not even separate cities, kan, because Singapore is a state, is a country, but this urban transformation, when JB wants to do its urban urban regeneration, they have to look at the closest neighboring city, which is Singapore. City / country, kan. So that is a good example to use here urban transformation. Okay, example that I gave you is the Loop City, designed by this Björk Angels Group. Okay, development strategies for Copenhagen, integrated with the Danish and Swedish cities. Copenhagen, Helsingborg, has all these cities. So in 2 countries, and this approach is considered comprehensive. Okay. Regeneration strategies, okay, you have filtration, you have the social planning. Filtration, more the physical aspect of regeneration. It involves the outmigration of households and employment, followed by clearance and redevelopment, demolish and rebuild of vacated sites. Social planning is more on the people. It's more on the population, more on the business, on the workers, rather than the urban space or the property. It involves the study of race relations, urban poverty, and deprivation to determine the social needs in the degenerated areas. So one is property-based or physical or property-led. The other one is people-led. People-centric, property-centric. Okay. Bootstrap strategy. Bootstrap means using whatever resources available. Okay, whatever you have, you improve on that. So if that's the definition of the bootstrap strategy, it involves the rehabilitation of housing. So whatever is there, the resources, you improve on that. So you can use rehabilitation, often with the aid of grants. For example, from a single family house into bedsitters or bed and breakfast. So from one from a single household property, you can convert that into a multiple household, not household, multiple household property. So from a family house to a multiple household that can comprise of single people lah. There kan. Sometimes you have the aged, so you have the aging, you have the low income people, you have the whatever kind of people that needs smaller living areas. Normally less costly than redevelopment because it's a matter of just doing things like retrofitting, repairs, maintenance, upgrading. Okay, replacement. Again, replacement is demolish and rebuild. Okay, but in this case, replacement is more demolishing the clearance, followed by public, private, or partnership development. Okay, this PPP, partnership or joint venture that are economically based. Compare this with social planning. Social planning just now is more people-based kan? So this one is economically based, carefully selected and prioritized and sensitively work program. Guiding urban growth through investment. So it combines the replacement strategy with market forces. Okay, replacement just now, the demolish and build, but what does the market want? Okay, what capital or technical technical or capital offerings can the private sector give there. So the government will set aside budget for urban redevelopment fund in anticipation of complementary private sector investment. And finally, local development strategy is a top-down approach. It's a joint venture between public and private and also PPPs. Okay, so you have the joint venture, the public sector remains owner, has control over the project, and then the PPPs shared risk and reward. So most models, okay, they prefer this one, PPPs, from housing to what else? PPPs, housing, public infrastructure also use PPPs, okay, in some countries, okay. Bus terminals, PPP, okay, in Malaysia, the Kuantan and Alustar, if I'm not mistaken, they use PPPs. Okay, anyway, case studies, okay, you have two case studies, Hong Kong and Penang. So this is relaxed time. What I'm going to do is for Hong Kong and Penang, I'm not going to record, but we are going to do this on, do I need to record this? I don't think so. Because these ones can be read on your own. I'm not going to record. Actually, you can read this on your own as well. Do you want me to do a lecture on this? Or you want to read on your own? Because we are now at the 10:20 mark. What do you want? It's open to you. You want to stop now? Or you want me to continue with another Zoom? Janda. What do you think? I can do a lecture, but if I do a lecture, I stop now and then I create another Zoom. Can.
Class rep. Class rep.
Class rep. It's on you, class rep. It's on you.
I just follow the majority.
Follow the majority. The majority is silent. Okay, what we can do is another Zoom. Yes.
Okay, Doctor.
Okay.
Zoom, alang-alang lah. Okay, another Zoom. So,
Easier, Doctor. Tak payah baca.
Okay, we stop now, and then another Zoom. Go back to your Spectrum for the link. Okay. Right. Anything